In this workshop series, we're going to talk about email inspection, how to look at the emails and decide whether or not you want to take action. I put a subtitle here that says discipline versus negligence because you would be surprised if I told you the number of people that admit that they just clicked on the link before they even fully read the email. Or I've had people tell me I clicked on the link while I was driving down the road. I've had people tell me things that would surprise you, that people are just clicking links. So now that we're in a digital world where we carry computers with us everywhere with our smartphones, people are clicking on links without even consideration. And what I would say is, especially from a business perspective, that could be seen as negligence because you really should try to understand what you're clicking on or try to understand what you're seeing. You've probably heard of phishing. Some of you may have heard of spear phishing. Spear phishing is just a little bit more specific to you. So phishing is more, think general, cast your nets, so to speak, and send out one email to 10,000 people and hope that you can get 3 or 4 people to click it. Spear phishing is more targeted, where they're trying to act like they know you, or they're trying to act like they know something about you in order to gain your trust. So the spearfisher thrives on familiarity. He knows who you are, he knows your name, or he knows something about you that he gains somehow, which can get you to click on the link a little bit more freely. How to protect yourself is fairly easy. I put it down at the bottom. I said I'm going to coin this. It's kind of the opposite of Nike. Just don't do it. It's my soapbox a little bit to tell you that I tell people there is not a reason to click on a link in an email. There's no legitimate business reason to click on a link in an email. Hyperlinks were built for convenience so that you didn't have to retype them, right? But it's just as easy to copy and paste something into a browser or go inspect from some of the tools that I mentioned in previous workshop series. But I've given you an example of a couple here on the screen. The entire intent is to get you to go somewhere that you wouldn't normally go, so that they can download or put something on your computer, have access to something that they wouldn't normally have access to. So in this case, for example, I've got the IRS and Verizon, 2 very popular ones that were going out in the years past, where they're trying to get you to click on a link by saying, hey, you need to go to our website because your IRS was turned down. So they click here for more information, right? And you can notice that in both of these cases, they're using actual logos. They're using something very similar. They're using similar colors, right, to make it look very legitimate. So you've got to be very, very careful. We have something that we've created at Pinnacle called the Super 6. I think it's a great tool, and what this does, and this goes more to the discipline, this is going to teach you how, when you get an email, you should inspect that email from top to bottom before you take any amount of action. And what we say here is you look at the email and you ask yourself this set of questions. Every time you get an email, people tell me, well, am I really going to ask myself 6 questions every time I get an email? Do you understand? I do 100 emails a day. That would be like 600 questions in my head. And the point is that it's kind of like muscle memory or anything else that you do. If you make it a good habit, you'll do this by second nature, and you won't realize it won't add but a microsecond to your inspection, and you can save yourself and your company thousands, if not millions of dollars in fraud and scam. So we ask ourselves the question, is this email unsolicited? Is the source of the email unfamiliar to you? Does the email ask you to do something like click on a link or download a file or open an attachment? After you read the email, does the request seem suspicious? Meaning, is there questionable syntax or typos? A lot of the folks that are threat actors are coming from non-English speaking languages, so therefore they sometimes get the sentence structure wrong, right? Or they sometimes leave out a verb or an adjective. So you want to be very careful. Or is it just very vague or general? Greetings, customer, right? And finally, on the last 2, when you hover over the link or you inspect the link, is the redirect different or unfamiliar to you? And finally, does the redirect link end with something like a .exe for an executable or a batch file or a zip file? You want to be very, very careful, especially with the attachments. And so I'm going to show you in the slides to come how you can use these practically. Here's an example of an email that came saying that, again, at first glance, it looks like it's an email from Pinnacle. It looks like it has to do with online banking. And so we're going to take an opportunity to look at this email. So if you look a little bit closer, you'll see that, for example, if you hovered over the link or inspected the link that says click here to access pnfp.com, but when you hover over it, you notice that it's not pnfp.com, it's onlinebanking.securebankinggroup.com. And as a matter of fact, if we go back and I tell people to inspect an email, start with who sent you the email, right? So we started with on the Super 6, if you remember, I said, who was it that sent it to you? Was it unfamiliar? Were you not expecting it, right? So out of the blue, you got an email from someone called Online Banking Admin. And if I look at that, I always tell people, forget about what it says until you see the @ sign. And when you see the @ sign, I want you to think www. Instead of @ think www. So this email is coming from a domain called www.securebankinggroup.org. That has nothing to do with any account you probably know about. It definitely doesn't match the logo below for Pinnacle Financial Partners. So you want to be very cautious right out of the gate. And we tell people on that Super 6 that if one of those is true, then you should proceed with caution. If more than 2 of them are true, then you should not do anything with that email other than hit delete. And in this case, just in our initial inspection, from the link is going somewhere differently, it's definitely something I wasn't expecting. It came out of the blue, and now it's not coming from anyone I know. This is definitely an email I want to delete. But I want to point out that the bad guys are making it look very, very similar to the Pinnacle website, right? That is a logo that you would see on our website. But I would also tell you that it's very easy for anyone to go out and steal images or names from people's websites to try to pretend to be them. Here's another example. This one looks like, again, at first glance, that it's from LinkedIn. And you'll notice on this slide, I went ahead and highlighted a few things. You'll see, we'll start at the top again. We'll just start with number 1. It's an email that I didn't do anything to ask for it to come, right? This was an unsolicited email to me, and it says it's from Group Administrator. At first glance, it looks like it's a LinkedIn, and it tells me that my account has been disabled. So they're trying to evoke emotion. They're trying to get me to do something here. In this case, again, even the email looks like it is from LinkedIn at first glance, but I, again, go to the @ sign and think www. It does not say linkedin.com. It says linkedin.cdn.com. So again, it's not the same. So I go down and I look at the bottom and it says due to fraudulent activity and multiple reports, my account's been reported. I need to click here now to reactivate. And if I hover over that link, you'll notice here at Pinnacle, ours are rewritten, so, and that you might find this in the real world, that the links just look like, I've had people tell me before, it looks like garbly-goop. And if you look at this URL, you can find some things that you do know. You see the www.linkedin.cdn right there, and then you see in this case, this happened to be a phishing test that I created, the words do not click, right? This was one that we used internally, and I put do not click in there, but I would be sad to tell you that even in my phishing test with that in there, people still click because they didn't do the inspection. They saw this, they saw that it was LinkedIn, and they go, oh my goodness, I don't want my account to be disabled, so they clicked without even thinking. By the way, the LinkedIn right there is not even their logo. I just typed the words and the letters LinkedIn right there. I just made it look like the same font from the website, and I used the same colors, but that's just writing. It's not even an actual logo. But I can't tell you the number of people that will click on something like this. Thank you for this series and joining us today. If you have any more questions, come and visit our Learning Center at pnfp.com and stay tuned to look for more modules that are coming out.